Hello and welcome to New Wave Global. I will be talking about the dramatic recovery that the US economy has made during 2023, contrary to the expectations of many analysts and even Wall Street people who thought that there would be an economic downturn or slowdown, thereby affecting millions who live in the US. And of course, the US economy has implications for the global economy. The US economy grew faster than expected in the final months of 2023, driven by robust household and government spending. And the annual rate of growth was 3.3% over the 3 months to December of 2023, according to the US Commerce Department, and which was, of course, down from 4.9% in the prior quarter of 2023, but much faster than the 2% estimations. And therefore, the annual growth rate in 2023 was 2.5%, up from 1.9% in 2022. These figures cap a year that has been characterized by unexpected economic resilience, even as the US Central Bank raised borrowing costs sharply and inflation cooled down. The figures, of course, are a boon for US President Joe Biden, who has been struggling to tell the public that the economy remains healthy and that the downshifts from the boom after the pandemic shock. Now, the problem in the US and the rest of the world is that perceptions or propaganda matter more, facts matter less in the age that we live in. Because if you look at social media or Twitter, there are still complaints by many Americans that the economy is not doing well and Biden has failed, etc. On the other hand, the numbers tell a different story. So, for example, in recent months, surveys have shown consumer sentiment improving, the stock market is up, petrol prices are down, and unemployment remains low. Let's unpack this further. I'm using a report by Axios.com, published on the 26th of January, a day, 2 days ago, to be precise. And this turnaround from earlier in the inflation fight, when strong data may have spooked financial markets and policymakers, now it is a sign that inflation can be beaten without a painful downturn. So, if you look at the history of recent history, it is said that there was never a year when inflation had declined this fast while the economy was growing above trend and unemployment was low or relatively stable. So, in December, for example, central banks' preferred gauge of inflation, the personal consumption expenditures price index, was up 2.6% over prior year. And the core measure, which excludes energy and food prices, and which is considered to be a better gauge of underlying inflation in the US, was 2.9% compared to 3.2% in previous month. Though I live in New York, where I don't see these numbers really playing out well for me, but certainly the aggregate numbers are going down. And Axios reports that even more impressive is the fact that core index is running at a 1.5% annualized rate over the last 3 months, particularly at the end of 2023, which is well below the Fed's target of 2%. So disposable income, once adjusted for inflation, increased by 0.1% after a 0.5% increase in November, and consumer spending increased by half a percentage point in real terms. And so in early 2023, when a run of strong data showed that booming consumer spending and eye-popping job gains paired with hotter inflation data that showed core PCE running a nearly 3% 3-month annualized rate. And at that time, the Fed was concerned that some brakes had to be applied at this rate of growth, or expansion, because if growth rates are higher or spending is higher, then obviously more money is circulating, and that leads to inflation as well. But now officials face the opposite scenario. And at the start of 2024, inflation looks to be cooling much faster than many expected, and Axios reports and that this has allowed the authorities to open door to rate cuts later this year, though exactly when and how much will they be cut by remains uncertain. So the key issue here is that basically the US economy is doing okay. And this is not a bad news for Joe Biden, who goes to election, is faced by a populist and a popular politician, Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is going to raise this issue of higher gas prices, inflation, etc., etc. But uh, data and facts speak otherwise. So I will be back with more updates. Until then, take care and goodbye.